topic of hate crime. I was just speaking to staff then, just really to explain why this presentation is going ahead today. Obviously, one of our departments does all the research, and they've done some recent research on hate crime within North Wales, in particular in the Deeside corridor, which includes places like Flint, Greenfield, Baggles, all the way down to Saltley, and places like that. So that sort of corridor, the Coast Road corridor, as I would call it, Flintshire North. And what was startling at the results of this research was that 40% of the hate crime committed in the last few months in North Wales in this area was committed by young people in your age group. And it was felt that we needed to revisit this presentation and to go over to remind young people what the law says about hate crime. So today I'm going to be presenting today's presentation called Think Twice Before You Speak. So we often have far more in common with people than we think. We're not really so different. Stop for a moment and think about yourself. What makes you similar to others and what makes you different to others? And we speak about these differences amongst people as diversity. We are all different in one way or another. Height, for example, I'm only small, I'm only 5'4". Size, our hair colour, our accent, our abilities, our skin colour, our cultural background, our beliefs or religion, our sexual orientation, our family background, and our values, and so on. We all have the right to be treated fairly no matter where we come from, what colour we are, what background is, what our religion or our belief is, or our culture, our language, our accent, our abilities, or sexual orientation. We all have the right to equal opportunities, equal respect, and to feel safe in our environment and in our communities. Racist language causes offence, even if it wasn't the intention to do so. A racist, by definition, is someone who prejudices others of different ethnicity as being not as good as those from their ethnic group. A racist will think of themselves as better than others, who they consider different. There will often be evident by the negative way they talk and behave towards others. If you use racist language, then you will be perceived as being a racist. Sometimes people hide behind the notion that they're just having a joke or it's just a bit of banter. Remember, racist language harms people and it is never a joke. Now, a good way to measure your words is to use this think method. Ask yourself, are the terms that you are using, are they thoughtful? Ask yourself, are the terms you are using, are they helpful? Ask yourself, are the terms you are using, are they inspiring? Ask yourself, are the terms you are using, are they necessary? Ask yourself, are the terms you are using, are they kind? If not, then don't use them when speaking about or to others. Racist language always upsets or offends others and is antisocial. So using words which are offensive to someone is breaking the law. It may be considered as harassment or a public order offence. If the language used is racist, then the offence may be treated as racially aggravated offence and will result in tougher penalties. The Equality Act states that schools and colleges and governing bodies have a duty to ensure that students do not face any form of racial discrimination, including attacks and harassment, and that they promote positive relationships and communication within their school community and the wider community, like we're doing today. The Crime and Disorder Act 1998 introduced new offences of racially aggravated violence, harassment, public order and criminal damage. So, for example, an assault is an offence in law. However, if the assault was against someone on the colour of their skin, then the assault would be considered racially aggravated. This kind of assault would carry a higher penalty. We all have a responsibility to challenge incidences where we hear someone using racist language. We should never ignore this kind of behaviour, and together we can all make a difference. It is also an offence to write racist comments on social networking sites, and that includes every site going. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, all those sites. Part of the Harassment Law 1997 covers malicious communications, making it an offence to write offensive comments. Tougher penalties will apply to an offence which has this racially aggravated element. Whenever you write something on the internet, do remember it is a public space and there are laws governing its use. If it would be an offence to say something in the real world, i.e. face to face, then it's also an offence on the internet. We should always try to put ourselves in the place of others and think about how we would feel. Remember, unfair and racist words can hurt us. If this happens to you, do not suffer in silence. Think about who you can tell. So we've got this sign which says, before you assume, you learn. Before you judge someone, you understand them. Before you hurt someone, you feel what it's like to be hurt. And before you say, you think. So who can you tell? If you or anyone you know is experiencing racist bullying or harassment, you need to tell someone. You need to tell a trusted adult or someone in your family. Obviously, some of you will be in colleges, some of you won't, so you can speak to staff when you are at school. Some other useful resources that you may or may not be aware of: Childline 0800 1111. You've also got Mike Cymru, which are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, which is 08 08 80 23456, or you can text them on 84001. And I know PC Lee Woodworth talked to students about knife crime incidents, and he would have mentioned an organisation called fearless.org, which you can report any type of crime, any type of incident anonymously, 100% anonymously, or you can report things either via the telephone 101 999 for emergencies, or you can do it via email. You can email North Wales Police on the dedicated form site. Now, lots of you are still at home virtually learning. If you go onto the School Beat website, there's lots of useful information and follow-up stuff about the topic that I've covered today. So, for example, there's a lesson, some information called Save Me, where you can learn to value cultural diversity, recognise how stereotypes can result in prejudice and how this can result in hate crime. Lots of information on that website and links to all those websites that I mentioned, Mike Cymru, and Childline as well. So lots of information on there, but please don't suffer in silence. Please report those incidences, tell a trusted adult straight away, and hopefully we can make North Wales a safer place, and Flintshire North, the area that the colleges are in, a much safer place as well. So diolch yn fawr, thank you very much. Any questions? Can't tell you lottery numbers, but any questions? And I don't know the footy results, so I can't help you there.
Thanks so much, Debbie. I was just wondering, we talked about the kind of responsibility that we all have, I guess, to challenge racist language. I was wondering if somebody wants to go about that, but maybe is perhaps, for example, by themselves, and they see a group of people doing this, over here a group of people doing this. How can they balance maybe concerns about their own like personal safety with sort of a need to like challenge this language, if that makes sense?
Obviously, we don't ask anyone to put themselves in grave danger. So if they don't feel confident in challenging, say, a group of people, I don't know, outside a supermarket using racist language. We certainly don't ask people to put themselves in danger. If they don't feel confident in challenging that behaviour, obviously ring us 101. If it's a non-emergency, obviously 999. If it's not happening there or then, maybe they've witnessed it and the incident's happened, obviously we really would like people to report these incidences. And I know sometimes people, particularly young people, I always hear the term, my own son uses it, they don't like to be seen as a grass. Now, I don't like using that term, but I know lots of young people don't like be seen as, reporting or telling tales on maybe people that they know. And that's why we also like to promote fearless.org. Like I said, it is nothing to do with the police. It is 100% anonymously. You will not be asked your name, your details, or anything like that. You can report anything from hate crime to someone that that's dealing drugs, someone that's carrying a knife. There is no comeback to you. All that happens is they take as much details about the incident. So if it was a hate incident, who was committing the offence, who is the victim, and then all that information it gets shared to the police force for that particular area. So for us, it's North Wales, and then that information comes to us for us to act on. We don't know who you are, and obviously, we are mindful. Sometimes information could be malicious, but obviously we've got checks and balances in place to make sure that we're aware that information is genuine. Perhaps we've had a further report on that same individual or that same group of people, and then we will act on that information. So, if you're confident that you feel that you can challenge these individuals, do it straight away. If you're not, you can tell a trusted adult maybe nearby, perhaps the shopkeeper in the shop, or a parent, if they're still there, or obviously ring us. We do get lots of people saying, well, the police are busy, we don't want to bother them. You're not bothering us at all. Where we need to stamp out this type of behaviour, and we need to know if it's happening, who's committing it, and we need to make North Wales a safer place. And the only way we can do that is if we have that information reported to us.
Absolutely, yeah, that's great. And we'll make sure that when we put this out on Happio in the Google Classrooms, that those links to Fearless and things like that you've mentioned today are on there as well.
Yes. And can I just, I might be like a bad record, but it is 100% anonymous. There is no way we don't get no information about who you are. We don't get your email address. We don't get a mobile number, nothing. It is 100%. So if you're not confident in reporting it direct to the police, ideally that's what we would like. But if you're not, you can report it via this anonymous service, which is a great way, because we do get that information then.
Absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.